Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to share my experience with oil painting. The thing about oil paint is that they dry extremely slow. Once by chance I bought a tube of white oil paint instead of acrylic paint and I thought that's no problem. They're both white, they're both waterproof. But no, where the acrylic paint used to take barely 3 to 4 minutes to completely dry, that paint didn't dry for 2 days. I smudged it so many times because I was sure it was dry. A set of camel oil colors, some paintbrushes and a palette knife. A canvas pad is like a sketchbook in which instead of pages made of paper, there are sheets of canvas. They are very cheap as compared to canvas boards or stretched canvas. Since I was making oil paintings for the first time, I was sure that they were not going to be very good. So I didn't want to waste too much money on it. The first painting that I tried was the winter moon. I chose this because it required just 3 colors. Since I was new to this kind of paintings, I knew I was gonna face some difficulties in color mixing. I think this is very important when you are trying to learn something new. Sometimes when we are learning new art, we choose a difficult piece and try to recreate something like that. But if that piece is difficult and complicated for a person just starting to learn the techniques, it can result in frustration, disinterest, and quitting. So, take baby steps. Learn to walk before you run. Start with something simple and then gradually increase the level. I covered the whole canvas with a mixture of blue and black. Bob Ross says you need the dark in order to show the light. The old me would have just used black, but no, Bob Ross has taught me better. Then I took white paint and started painting the moonlight. It was then when I realized why we mixed blue in black. Bob Ross was using a flat brush to do this. I didn't have one, so I was improvising with a round brush. It looked messy in the beginning, but it improved after I blended it with a soft flat brush. I kept going step by step, and the first challenge I faced when I was painting the snow on the almighty mountains. You see, the thing is, you need a very firm paint to do what Bob Ross was doing. My paint was a bit soft for this technique, so yeah, I ruined it. But I had expected failures in the beginning, so I wasn't disheartened and I kept going. I wanted to fix the mountains, but the paint was still wet. If I had tried to put white again on the mountains, it would have just mixed with the background color and become muddy. So I had to wait, and I'm not very good at waiting. So I started another painting in the meantime. For painting the daytime sceneries, Bob Ross suggests to cover the whole canvas with thin white oil paint. He calls it magic white. I did the same. This painting is from the episode called Peaceful Valley. The sky looks a little messy, but I know I can fix it with a flat brush. I still struggled with snow. It kept mixing with the background paint and turned blue. The point came in the second painting where I couldn't go further and I had to wait for the background layer to dry. I couldn't go and fix my first painting because it was still wet. So I started the third painting. I thought, what if I skip the magic white step? Maybe it's just waste of paint. But I was wrong. The third painting was a mess. It wasn't blending. The colors came out too dark. I was missing the magic. It's okay. I learned from my mistake. Bob Ross was born in Florida. He joined US Air Force at the age of 18 and worked there for 20 years. He eventually got posted in Alaska, where he witnessed beautiful snow-covered mountains and valleys, and that's what later became the theme of most of his paintings. One day, when he was working as a part-time bartender, he watched a TV show called The Magic of Oil Painting by Bill Alexander. Bill was teaching the oil painting technique called wet on wet, using which the artist can complete a painting in merely 30 minutes, which otherwise required hours to make. Bob Ross was hooked and he started learning and practicing this technique. Eventually, he created and hosted his own instructional TV program called The Joy of Painting. All 31 seasons of Joy of Painting are available on YouTube. Go check them out, you'll love them. So, my first painting was dry. I began fixing the mountains. Then I added highlight to the bushes. Then I started painting some happy little trees with a fan brush, and it was a little tricky because my fan brush felt a little too big for my canvas. However, I think I did a good job painting the bigger trees. And lastly, the cabin. I'm still getting hang of palette knives. After practicing almost 10 landscapes, I made this big one. What do you think about it? It's not a masterpiece, but it's still an improvement on my earlier paintings. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to watch more videos like this, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.